Morning all. How are we doing? Morning Diamond, morning Ladder, morning Frank. Every Friday is NFP for me. Non-Friday pizza. Yes, that would be good. Friday's normally wine day for me. Morning Eric. So arm update, trapped nerve updates. Agony last night, hardly slept at all. And my wife's phoning the physios as soon as they open at 8 o'clock to try and get me in for an appointment today because I'm in absolute agony with this arm. It's just basically constantly aching, and now my entire thumb and the palm of my hand is numb. So if I have to cut the live room short, that's why. I will let you know, obviously, I'm cutting it short, but it goes into spasm basically, and it's so painful. I just basically have to go and lie on the floor and be crippled in pain for about 5 minutes. So I'm on lots of codeine, lots of other drugs, but if they've got an appointment in half an hour, I'm going, just to let you know. So I might not be around this afternoon either. Depends on obviously what happens today, but got to get this fixed. Can't bear the pain. It's so painful. Don't realize how nerves affect every part of your body. When one of them isn't playing ball, it's just kills you. Anyway, so on other news, GDP this morning for the pound, we narrowly escaped recession today by nothing. It's zero. So we've got zero growth in the last quarter. We were expecting zero growth, and that's what we got. But obviously, that is not good. So it's not good for the UK. Also, if you look at the month-on-month GDP, it was negative 0.5. So putting it all together over the next quarter, there is a good chance we may well get a negative GDP growth on the next quarterly review, which will be, where are we? January, February, March, April. So I get the feeling this is obviously going to hurt the pound. It's coming down this morning, not dramatically, but we are obviously starting to drop. So I've got pound shorts on the pound New Zealand and the pound US. I've got out of one of the pound USs this morning, actually. So I've taken this one off this morning from yesterday. So that one there I've taken off down here. It's just pushing up a little bit at the moment. I've still got one short, and obviously, that's my pen gone. I've got my pen open yet. I will add to that if we come back up into here. Add a second position on, and pound New Zealand. I've got that one running in profit at the moment. It's having again a little push this morning, in the last sort of quarter of an hour. But ADR, if we get an ADR today, obviously I'll be out in profit and all of that. The yen is off and racing today. You can see all the ADRs this morning on the Swiss yen. I scaled out of a little bit yesterday as well. So euro pound, took a scale out on that yesterday. Down here, go away, dashboard. Getting in the way. So I took a scale out on that yesterday, added another position down at the lows on M5. Still like that long, obviously like it even longer now. But I had to start doing some reduction on that. That was it, I think, yesterday. New Zealand CAD, closed that one out. Yeah, it was closed out in New York, wasn't it? So yeah, pretty good day yesterday. Did 2,600 or something, 2,300, including the ORB. So opening range break today. We might get some decent volatility today. Obviously, we've got that news on the pound. So that's going to affect the FTSE probably at the open. Hopefully we'll get a decent open on the FTSE, which will possibly give the DAX a bit of a pump as well. So we might get a very fast move this morning. We'll see what happens. But we've just had news, obviously, which obviously means economic growth has stalled. So there may be an exodus from some UK-based stocks and European stocks. So we'll see. But if we do get a nice big sell-off at the start, obviously I'll be on the pre-15 open on that. At the moment, what we got? 4 minutes to go. So there's the break of the low. The 15 is there at the minute. So we will see. Fairly slow at the moment, though. News-wise today, obviously, we've just had that this morning, the GDP. We've got the EU forecasts at some point this morning as well. That was forecast for 10 o'clock. I don't know why it's suddenly gone tentative. Initial release time was shifted 24 hours. Oh, yeah, it was yesterday morning, wasn't it, at 10 o'clock? That was when it was meant to be. Right, okay. So, yeah, they have. I don't know why that's shifted, but apparently we're getting that at some point today. An hour before the open, we've got the unemployment figures for Canada. So that's going to be an important one. So if you've got any CAD on, we're going to get some decent movement on the CAD this afternoon. And then we've got University of Michigan this afternoon for the US, half an hour after the open, and Waller speaking. So nothing dramatic for the US this afternoon. Sentiment, University of Michigan, it does move the market sometimes. It really depends what the figure comes out at, but it's usually in the direction expected. And at the moment, we don't really have an expected direction on the US. It's confusing everybody. So we'll see what happens with that. Canadian dollar obviously is going to be the big one this afternoon. So right, 2 minutes to the open. Unfortunately, we're pushing hard at the highs. So good chance I'm just going to get immediately triggered in a long, regardless. I like the 15 pre-market 15 to be somewhere in here so that we actually have to run up to a level to get in. I don't like it when it's up at the highs. We'll see what happens with that one. Just under 1 minute to go. Right. So looking at ADRs quickly. So far, it's all yen based. Everything yen has hit. So Aussie dollar yen. I'm not quite sure why this is. Here we go. We just had a change of governor. Oh. Kazuo Ueda is the new central bank governor. So shift in management basically there. Otherwise, there's not a lot of other overnight news that I could see that was anything particularly exciting. Interest rates on the Australian dollar, which we know. Both the government and the Bank of Japan continue to use fiscal issues. Unfortunately, inflation has yet to consistently sustainable reach the target. Yes, we know that. What are you going to do about it? Yeah, okay. So a lot of yen basically, which is why we've had that massive movement on the yen. So if you look at all the yens, huge collapse, strength on the yen. So this is why I've been wanting to short the yen all the time. Only look at shorts because this is the type of movement we expect from the Bank of Japan now. They just pump it really, really hard whenever they want to, basically. So if you're in any of the yens, there were some opportunities on RSI extensions on the yens, wasn't there, I think, this week? So if you did get in any of those, well done. All coming down very, very hard. I wouldn't want to take an ADR reversal on these. Look at the speed of that one. Just because it's a little bit dangerous. Okay, so pound yen's just hit as well. Why have I not got pre-market 15? What's going on? Why is my ORB not working? Why? Why? Just why? Fine. Okay. Outro, your EA only put in a sell stop. That is because when the ORB triggered, it was at the highs and it tried to trigger and couldn't, I guess. I don't know. Mine hasn't triggered at all for some reason this morning. Jesus Christ. I don't know. Right, well, fine. I won't do that this morning then. I shall manually trade this morning. No idea why the ORB is not triggering. Weird. Anyway, I'll shut that down. I did actually just turn it on this morning, so I'm wondering if I've got some input set wrong, but anyway. Let's get rid of that one for a minute. Right, so just going to watch the DAX manually. M5. Where are we? 260. So we go 300. So I'm going to look at an opening range of the going 0.5% today. The first 5 minutes. So see how it goes. Morning, Stevie. So all your ORs, your ADRs, all yens. I'm not going to try and mean revert that this morning. There's nothing on the RSI dashboard at all to look at today. Totally flat. So, okay. I got this set to draw in the opening range. Yes. 125 on US dollar yen. Pound is pulling back a little bit at the moment. Right. So, yeah, that was a big spike on the DAX. Let's have a quick look at the DAX, see where we're going. So it looks like a good short so far. Targets for today. It's got to be the weekly low, isn't it? Really? If we're going south. North, very difficult. Look at that A-shaped recovery yesterday. That was huge. That was the ADR hit yesterday. And undid the entire thing. Didn't get on that at all yesterday afternoon. Oh my God. I've never experienced so much pain in my life, and it's permanent as well. It's like I'm on paracetamol, codeine, ibuprofen, a nerve relaxant thing, and I've taken some fast-acting ibuprofen as well this morning, and there is nothing can get on top of this pain at all. They're going to have to knock me out, literally. So there's your opening range. That's huge. So we got a 35-point opening range this morning. So I'm going to go. Do I want my stop that big? I don't think I do this morning. I'm going to go with the 20-point start with. It's 50% of that move, roughly, just above that propulsion gap. So I'm going to look at going short on a breakout. That looks pretty bearish at the moment, doesn't it? Swiss yen 125. Anybody get on any of these yens? They are absolutely flying. US dollar up to. US dollar's coming down pretty hard, which means my gold is going up nicely. Thank you very much, gold. If you can just get up to there, that'd be lovely, so I can finally get out of you. Hate that gold. CAD Swiss, other trades that I'm in. So I'm in gold long. Still got a few positions on that. Just cancelling that pending off for the minute because we are inside bar at the moment. I'm just going to wait for this candle to close. Still like it's short based on that initial candle. Your spreads are stupid this morning. Just been taken out for nearly double my actual trade size. Who are you trading with, Outro? Switch to a broker that's got fixed spreads. Or nearest. I mean, there is no broker that's got fixed spreads, but 8cap. Oh, Christ, get out of 8cap. They're the worst broker in the world. Literally, I've never experienced a broker like it. I don't even know how they can possibly be in business. Leave. Next step. Yeah, leave it. Were you not here yesterday afternoon? You're probably not. So do not use any prop firm that uses 8cap. They're all brokers. They're all cons. The whole lot, all cons. You'll never pass. You'll never pass with 8cap. Unless if you're swing trading, you'll be fine. But if you're scalping any time frame, 15-minute or lower, you're dead in the water. They're the worst broker out there. I don't even know how they're still in business, to be honest. Well, I do know how they're in business because all the prop firms that are using them are propping them up, basically. Terrible. So yeah, gold I'm in long. I've got New Zealand dollar CAD on still at the moment. That's a buy. So I'm long on that. I've got 2 positions on that. Looking to get out in the propulsion gap. Yeah, just basically, if you want to use a prop firm, use my Forex funds or EA, FTMO if you want to. There's no need to use these tiny little startup prop firms. They're just in it to make a quick buck, and they will disappear. I've got a prop firm tab here. Look, yeah, and every now and again I click on these things, and oh, they've gone. They disappear. They just come and they go, and they take your money. So just stick with the big boys. You'll be fine. Right, we've got an opening range break, or it's trying to break the highs on the DAX. So let's go for my trades. New Zealand dollar CAD. I'm just going to wait for this candle to go in. Really don't know which way this one wants to go this morning, so I'm not going to jump in straight away. Pound US dollar. I've got that on short at the moment. Got 1 position still on that. Pound New Zealand, I'm short. Within ADR on that, so it's not far away. I've got 3 positions on that. 4 positions on that one now. What else have I got on? Euro pound, I've got 3 longs on. Again, well within ADR. Sorry, 1 second. I've got my appointment at 2 o'clock this afternoon, so there won't be a live room this afternoon, unfortunately. So I'm going to an osteopath. So there's your 10-minute range. This is a bit wild this morning. Don't really want to jump on that yet, but I might jump on a pullback. So Euro pound I've got long, and I've got CAD Swiss short. That one's in the money at the moment as well. Try broker TD365. Yeah, you can't. You can use TD365. They're a great broker, but you can't trade on any platform with them. You can't trade MT4 or MT5. So no EAs. It's all manual trading. So yeah, TD365 are really good. I've got an account with TD365, but I don't use it because they don't support software. But yeah, I mean, Tom Hugard uses TD365. Going long 1 on the DAX, which is great for manual trading, but obviously, if you want to use any kind of automation, you can't use them. There's plenty of other brokers out there. Robo Forex, absolutely perfect. Fine. Nothing wrong with Robo Forex, nothing wrong with Axie. There's hundreds of brokers out there. But if you're going to trade prop, just avoid every prop firm that uses 8cap. That's the only rule. It's my first rule. I go to a prop firm, new prop firm pops up, amazing rules, look at it, 8cap. Well, yeah, of course I'm not going to pass because I can't. Because my execution will take 3 minutes to get an order through. It's just awful. And then they spread you, like Outro's just said this morning. You know, if you have trading an opening range breakout and you've got a pending order there, it'll be there and you'll get triggered on it, and it will never get anywhere near your price. They just spread in. It's the oldest trick in the book. All the brokers that have gone bust and have been kicked out by the regulators are like 8cap. They're just there to spread and get the money. You know, you deposit 1,000, they take 800 of it. You take your 200 out and go elsewhere. That's the way they work. Their job is literally replacing clients. They spend over half of their marketing budget, half of their profit of their company on a marketing budget to replace the clients that they not steal money from. If you read your contract with your broker, it's interesting. You sign a contract with your broker that says that they will execute. It's a legally binding contract. You deposit money with your broker. Your contract that you've signed with your broker says that they can execute your orders for you at any price they deem fit. Yeah. So if you ask for 15442.7, legally they can execute you at 15491 if they want to. And there's nothing you can do about it because you've signed a contract to say that you're happy for them to do that. And if your stop loss is down here, what it will do is it will trigger your order and stop you out straight away. And they basically just take your money. Why do we do it? We haven't got a choice. But anyway, that's, yeah, that's brokers. Best business to be in, brokerage. I've got nearly 0.5% on this. The taking point four, $400. Quick scalp at the open. So I'll see where this goes from here. If we get a pullback, I'll jump in. We've got a nice big propulsion back. Oh no, we haven't got a propulsion gap because the wick's there, isn't it? Okay. Blimey, it's going this morning. Isn't it? So I've just taken 0.5% on that. So watch this shoulder. Yeah, so watch this area for shorts. Mr. Yarman's just said that's gap fill done as well. So 15473 and 154. God, I can't read that. Jesus, these drugs. Oof. 15. I can't read that. 15488. I think that is. Oh my God. Tell you what, I'm dosed up to the eyeballs on all sorts of stuff. Vision's gone blurry. 15488. Thank you, ladder. I really shouldn't be trading in this condition. Oh. Okay, so what I would do is look for a pullback. There's a wick test potentially there. So if we don't come back down to this area, we're going to leave a propulsion gap. I would expect them to come up and retest this area. And then potentially we'll find some sellers in there. We have also got a propulsion gap at ADR, but that's not really a propulsion gap. You can't really class that as an accumulation. This was just basically an A-shaped recovery yesterday. So if we drop down to lower time frames, you can see where the orders were. Yes, pretty consistent, just straight drop, wasn't it? Wouldn't even class that as an accumulation either. So this zone basically is where I would expect potentially to see a pullback start from. Tricky open. Anybody long on it? So there's your 15-minute opening range there. So that's the 15-minute opening range this morning, which is 65 points. This thing's got 180 ADR. So you've done almost half an ADR in the open. Tricky to get onto this morning, that. Okay, so we're just entering this area here. I don't think my fundamentals have updated the pound yet. Let's have a quick look. Yes, they have. Right, so GDP figures have changed for the pound. So let's see how that's affected the bias scorecard. Not a lot. So GBP pairs are all still very short. Short everything. Pound US is a -8, pound New Zealand is -5. Large cop bias short on both of those. Fundamentals all short. Swissy is a short, but mainly because sentiment's on the wrong side. Pound CAD, pound odd, both shorts. No sentiment on side from retail or from cop. Euro pound is a long, which I'm already long on. So that's interesting. So that is now range bound. Look. Pound yen is a long, which I'm not really paying any attention to the pounds. But okay, so there's our tap into the potential right shoulder if this is going to turn into an attempted head and shoulders. John's just said in the Telegram group, even Blueberry was taken over by 8 cap. 8 crap. Yeah, Blueberry markets were terrible as well. There's levels of brokerage. Yeah, you've got your cheap brokers who have no commissions and crappy execution, and there's a lot of them around. Blueberry markets was one of them. Blueberry was also always terrible execution. 8 cap, terrible execution, but 8 cap and Blueberry jumped into bed together, and you know, whatever child they produce is going to be crap as well. So there's different levels of broker, and you basically, if you pick a broker that's been established for a long time, has ECN connection and charges you commission, you can't go far wrong. But you have to basically trade, get an account, open it, have a look at it, and see what it's like. You know, look at my spread. I haven't got any on the DAX. Yeah, if you look at your broker and you've got a spread which is like 5 points or something, you can't use it. So you just have to do your due diligence. But like say with prop firms, you don't get a choice. And I'm fortunate that Traders Global Group are actually a very good broker, and that's who my Forex funds use. But E8 as well. I mean, E8 provide their own liquidity, so E8's tight as anything as well, which is why I like them. But there's a lot of rubbish out there. Okay, so we haven't had a bear candle yet, but we have slowed down and started to reject in this area. So we are finding the sellers starting to step in here. So we'll see if we can crack this level. It's too. I can't get on this up here. It's too extended. So I would look for a pullback into this propulsion gap. Actually, that's not a. See, that is not officially a propulsion gap because this candle is smaller than that candle, and that's one of the wide range bar rules. The propulsion move has to be larger than the previous 3 candles, which it isn't in this case. However, there is an area there where we're likely to test. That's why I liked the 1, 2, 3 gap indicator rather than the wide range bar, because it would have drawn that in. It doesn't care about the previous size of the candle. Okay, pulling back from the resistance. So question is, are we going long or short here? Let's have a quick look at what the FTSE's up to. So the FTSE's tapped straight into support and bounced. So it looks like a long. That's already been tested, but so FTSE looks like it wants to go long as well. So I would be looking for pullback longs today. So potentially buy stop. Oh, sorry, sell stop. Buy stop above the highs. And I'll try and get in one somewhere in this area, or potentially return back down into this area as well. My rule of thumb is when you're long, you're long. Yeah. It's certainly a long. Until the market says it's short, it's a long. So pullback longs. So you have to assume whenever you're scalping, you have to assume that the market is right. And basically, we'd be looking for market structure. So there's our opening move. We now need to gauge how big this pullback is going to be, and we need to figure out when to get in on the pullback, assuming that market structure is going to remain long. However, if this is a head and shoulders pattern forming, we should be going short. At least down to there. But most head and shoulders will fail. So still long on the 5 minute, but deleted the 15, not trusting it. Yeah, it's a bit extended to get in on a 15 minute. I'm going to get in on a 15, which is that pending order there, but I'm going to wait for it to pull back and add before I get up there. Hopefully, if it gives me any indications. Blueberry Markets will migrate its operations from 8cap to ACY Securities on the 17th of December. I've made my biggest wins when I've caught the reversal. I've also blown trials that way. Well, yeah, of course. It's just it's always a 50-50 shot. It's going up or down. That's the thing we don't know, unfortunately. However, I do like this long this morning based on what the FTSE is also up to. Looks pretty bullish. But it's also at the moment, we are, if it is still, that's your 15-minute open. We're still inside bar on the 15 at the moment. So break of this high or that high, if that remains as an inside bar in the next 5 minutes. There we go. So we got it's rejecting those lows at the moment. So this is what would have been a propulsion gap, which they're buying up. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to break this order down into two halves. I'm going to go, just wait for this candle to close. Okay, going long one here. Oh, that's a bit tight. It's a bit too tight. Just putting that pending back in with a slightly wider stop. I'm going to get that tight on it. It's quite volatile this morning. 8 cap, 8 crap, yeah. So market structure, high, low, looking for a break. So going to add on the break. Oh, my arm. So upward target on this, it's very difficult to call today. We did an ADR yesterday, but we did it very, 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 very fast. So I wouldn't expect us to get an ADR that quick today, obviously, but we had a really fast run up to ADR yesterday, and then we went 125 ADR, undid the whole thing. So initially, I would probably look somewhere around there, which is going to be a retracement on this if it's going to be a potential down move. We obviously don't know which way it's going to go. So that's a 50% retracement, that propulsion. That would be a fairly quick, easy target to hit. ADR, obviously. But if we are going bullish on this, obviously, market structure at the moment is very bullish. So unlikely to do 150 ADR, but you never know. Stranger things happen. We did 125 yesterday, didn't we? That was an ADR day as well. That was so 280, 180. So that was about 150, 170 ADR. Can do it. Need a lot of buyers on board though. So we're inside bar on this candle. There's no follow through at the minute. If anybody's got any FX pairs they want to have a look at, let me know. I'll have a quick run through the scorecard in a minute. We'll have a look at the sentiment as well. But there's nothing. There's no RSIs to look at today, and the ADRs are all yen based. So up to you if you want to jump on mean reversions on any of these yens. But this is Bank of Japan move, so this could be 300 ADR today for all we know. I just would be wary about trying to jump on a reversal. What did oil get up to yesterday? Oh, oil's off, look. So I was looking for a pullback into here yesterday. Didn't get it, unfortunately. I was hoping we were going to get down closer to ADR, and it pulled straight back up, accumulated, and we're off this morning. So I've missed my entry on that. But looking for a retest of these triple top. And then onwards from there, obviously. So missed it though. Aussie dollar, US dollar. So that's a sell at the minute. We've got large cot positioning short. Fundamentals are all short on it. So be looking for opportunities to get in short. Yesterday was actually not quite an ADR, almost. And a nice drop on that one yesterday. So difficult. We're flagging at the minute. In fact, the flag is actually just broken this morning. So obviously you had that reversal alert there. We've just come up and retested that propulsion gap. So with all these US dollar pairs at the moment, we've got two propulsion gaps. We've got one that was caused by FOMC. We've got the second one that was caused by unemployment. I don't think they're going to be able to get back to that one. I think that's going to become an orphaned one. And you quite often find them at the top, at peak formation highs and lows, where we are, where we turn aggressively and we never get back to retest it. So we've retested that area and pushed back down. We just made a new low. So market structure has, although we've got a reversal alert long, which is a retest, if you know, and it all depends on your view, doesn't it? But a A lot of people will be trying to long this. If they're paying attention to fundamentals, though, potentially you should be looking for strength. So I'd be looking for shorts on it. You've kind of missed the entry there, but I like it short. So today, if we get a push up and retest of that, but equally, we could retest that accumulation break there and find sellers. We've just taken out the Asian high. It could go from here. Difficult to get into this morning, that one. DAX is going backwards. It's not going backwards. It's just not going anywhere. Might be a bit premature on this. Stopping out on this DAX. So second 15 minutes is in on the FTSE, rejected the pre-market highs and not really gone anywhere. So that's the movement so far. Nice bottom there. Okay, so I'm going. I'm just going to wait for this candle to close, and then I'm going to try another long. That was a bit too tight, that stop, based on price action at the moment. 20 is a bit tight, 30 is more realistic, I think. Entering somewhere around here with a 30 point takes me below that level and below these wicks. So I'm going to try and get another long on. Although I don't think I want to get on yet. It doesn't seem to be holding up that low, does it? No. Probably open, really. I'm going to leave it for a minute. I'm going to leave that buy stop in place. So if we do get a quick run out the highs, FTSE looks like it wants to go a lot more than the DAX does this morning. So, which you would expect because the pound will be dropping. So we should expect the FTSE to be rallying, really. So I'm going to leave that in place. We'll have a look at some FX pairs. I'm just looking for some signs of strength down here, basically, but we're just not getting any signs of strength, really, at the moment. So we've just put, basically, with what we've had price action wise, this is why you need to learn price action, because it does tell you what the market participants are up to. But so basically, we've got an outside, long wick candle, then followed by an inside bar, followed by an outside bar. So an inside bar and an outside bar are both indecision candles. But the outside bar is bearish. So we've gone bearish, inside bar, break to the downside, bearish, outside bar. So it's price action is bearish at the moment, but not particularly strong, is it either? So I don't really want to get in either direction at the moment on it until it's really got some signs of strength. And obviously the FTSE's struggling in pretty much the same way as well at the moment. So I'm just going to leave it for the minute. So there's our retest of that pre-market level. I'm going to have one more here as well, buy stop there. So if we get basically a bullish engulfing, we should get a run at these highs again. So I want to get gathered in as we run at the highs, and then we're either going to double top those highs and bounce, or we're going to flush them. So I'm just building a position basically for a run at the highs. And again, if this pulls back down again, I'll pending there and look to go, look to start building a long position based on the initial move, and assuming that is going to hold. But there is argument obviously on the DAX at the moment for that head and shoulders, isn't there? So break out the lows. There doesn't seem to be enough sellers on board today, so tricky one today. Right, so looking at the bias scorecard. So the sentiment EA that I've got running, this thing's just flip-flopping up and down all day. It's really interesting watching this trade. It's literally what happens is all of this sentiment intraday always has a push in line with the opposite of retail sentiment pretty much every day. So the market is long euro pound. Yeah. So you can see obviously it's been pushing down. So it's interesting how it flip-flops, but what we tend to find is we get a push every day in the direction that we want to go. So as long as you've taken yesterday's high sweep or a previous day's high sweep or something, virtually every day, every position kind of gets into a profit. So this thing down here has been flip-flopping between sort of 2.5% down to 2.5% up. So after watching this for a week, it's kind of a case of you need to just monitor this and get out. And I'm thinking probably the best thing to do is every time we get to 0.25%, we just take it off. And if it goes 0.25% against, we add and scale out a little bit like position trading, same as position trading, basically, as long as the sentiment is still on the side. So it's really interesting watch. I've been watching this all week. But this morning, this was 1,000 something in profit again. So I could have closed the whole lot down this morning. Same yesterday, I looked at it. It was $1,000 in profit. Every day, it's been $1,000 in profit. But obviously, the market pushes and pulls. So what you've got to do is get out. So I'm just going to test some ideas and some strategies on exits on these. Unfortunately, I can't do it in the back tester because obviously we haven't got historical sentiment. But yeah, it's very interesting watching it and how the sentiment plays out. So today's top sentiment trades, 657. Should have another update on that. There we go. So this is the latest sentiment figures. So New Zealand dollar CAD, they're all still short. US CAD, they're all still short. They're all still short. The Swiss yen and the Aussie yen, they're doing well on those two, but that's because of news, not because of they got it right. Euro CAD as well. So and then the long side, we've got CAD Swiss, market is long, Aussie Swiss. So they're long basically Swiss. Everything against the Swiss, basically. So any of these Swiss pairs, good sells at the moment. Yeah, they've been long the Swissies for ages. It's been coming down. So shorts on any of these, basically. I'm already short on the CAD Swiss. It's pushing nicely this morning. That's the CAD pushing, I think. Not that's can't tell. It's a yen, isn't it? Yeah. So Canadian dollars seems to be pushing at the moment. That's CAD pushing. Still coming down on the DAX. So yeah, from a sentiment perspective, combined top buys at the moment are Euro CAD, New Zealand CAD, and US CAD. So Euro CAD long. So there's an opportunity to get in Euro CAD long. So they're long against all these Canadian pairs. Now, the thing you've got to bear in mind today is obviously this afternoon. So the market seems to be pumping the CAD ahead of unemployment. So they're anticipating a bullish result. If we don't get that bullish result, it's obviously all going to flip the other way. Morning, Shroud. So if you're going to take any of these sentiment plays this morning that are based on the CAD, just bear in mind, obviously, we've got the news coming this afternoon. So they're all coming down at the moment, getting ready. So you can pretty much take any of these long, but you are trading into news. So you have a 50-50 shot of whether or not these are going to go your way this afternoon, aren't you? So I would say they're probably a little risky today, the Canadian pairs. There's no shorts which have cot on side and retail, but there are plenty of other retails. And again, it's all these Swissies. So the market is massively long everything Swiss franc at the moment. So all of these are -2s. So there's potentials for all the Swiss franc for shorts. So Aussie dollar Swiss pushing up at the moment. CAD Swiss should be pushing because that's the CAD. Oops. Euro Swiss pushing up at the minute. Pound Swiss again pushing up. New Zealand Swiss pushing up. So all of these basically Swiss franc ones, market participation, they're all long. So the market is pushing up at the moment, enticing everybody to get into these long positions. Oil's just hit its weekly range. Okay, there's our first bullish price action off of support. Straight into a propulsion gap. To see how this candle closes. So yeah, opportunity there on the Swiss francs. So obviously they're enticing longs at the moment. All the liquidity is going to be popped under there. So good short opportunities on all of them. I would wait ideally until we take a level. So if you look at all the Swissies and look at levels we've got, so you've got Asian highs. That's pretty much it on that one. New Zealand Swiss, we're just coming up into propulsion. Not much though. So I'd look at yesterday's high. So if we can go up to yesterday's high. Going long one on the DAX. So we need to get through this. So this is either going to reject here, but I'm playing. I'm going market structure long. New Zealand Swiss, if we get to yesterday's high, nice looking short. Pound Swiss, yesterday's high again, so just drop down into M5, wait for a reversal alert. Euro Swiss, yesterday's high and the Asian high, pretty much at the same level. Obvious liquidity trap there. Pushing long, their liquidity goes there, so we should get a breakout of the Asian lows. CAD Swiss, I'm already in short on this one, but obviously the Canadian dollar is pushing hard at the moment off of that news this afternoon. So if you want to get into this one short, obviously just be aware we may get stuck the wrong side of news, depending what that comes out as. But that level there would be a good area for starting to look for shorts on the Aussie Swiss. Yesterday's high. You've also got Tuesday's high as well, and that's up at ADR. So yesterday's high and the previous day's high are pretty much the same level. So this whole area, basically. Anywhere around there, look for shorts. Right. So your bias scorecard, pretty much the same as it's been all week. We haven't had any news this week that's really affected bias at all, have we? So all these yens, as I said, I keep saying it every day, but I'm not interested in longing against the yen at the moment. And today is exactly why, because the Bank of Japan have this handy knack of being able to just pump their currency whenever they fancy it. So whenever they get into a point where it's getting tricky, they pump it. So although the market is long, and obviously the market can make money being long on this, it can easily do that. Yeah, but what I'm interested in being on is these drops, these pumps that they do. Yeah, so I'm looking for short opportunities on all of these, which is against basically the buyer scorecard. But half of this stuff on the buyer scorecard is made up by interest rate and interest rate change, and you can ignore those because they don't change the interest rates on the yen. So you can always take 2 off of these, and then all you've got literally is cot positioning, pretty much. So the yen's not on that one, but the yens are very tricky at the moment, so I'm just steering clear of them. So US dollar CAD at the moment is the top buy, and New Zealand dollar CAD. Both of these have fundamentals which are pretty mixed, but we've got cot and retail both on side at the moment on those ones. So US dollar CAD and New Zealand CAD. Again, today, be a little careful with these. Obviously, they're pulling back at the moment, but you've got to be careful, obviously, with the Canadian dollar news. So hopefully the unemployment figures come out really bad because I'm long. But yeah, if it pumps down, then I'll have to scale into it. But we'll see. So this obviously move here was the unemployment figures for the US dollar. So if we get the Canadian unemployment figures coming out as positive as well, we'll see that. And we'll probably see some strength potentially come through in the US as well. So we'll see what happens this afternoon. The other shorts you've got, basically, it's shorting everything pretty much against the US dollar at the moment. Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar is a decent sell, caught on board and fundamentals. Pound New Zealand dollar, because the pound is a short. So it's basically US dollar. We're waiting for that strength to come through still on the US dollar. But, the fundamentals at the moment are all pointing towards US dollar strength. But as I've been saying, it doesn't really seem to matter what the Fed says, how bullish they are. The market is just not interested at the moment in putting money into the dollar. So it's a tricky one to trade at the moment, the US. But you have to say, based on the way that everything's going with all the other countries, the US should still be stronger than most other currencies out there. But we're range bound there. It is a kind of bearish move, but there's lots and lots of pops you get, so it's easy to get in and out of everything with the US dollar. But it's weak at the minute, still weak, but started to strengthen up last week. So that FOMC last week and the unemployment figures really gave the dollar a kick. So I'm hoping that this is what we've been waiting for to actually start these moves on the US. But what I would like gold to do first is just get me out and then wait for the US dollar to power up. Would be nice, but we'll see. So yeah, so the few bits to look at there, but pretty much the same as has been all week. So next week coming up after the unemployment figures this afternoon, we've got CPI for the Swiss franc next week. We've got the CPI figures for the US dollar and for the pound. We've got unemployment for the Aussie dollar. We've got retail for the US. We've got PPI for the US. So yeah, massive week next week. Inflation figures are really what's going to kick it in for the US dollar. So if we get these figures coming down, I think we're going to get some really good movement from the US, but we'll see. So lots of potential next week. CPI for the pound will also be very interesting next week, seeing as we've just come out as a 0 on GDP growth. if that inflation figure is not coming down, don't know how much hope for us. We're stuffed. Time to move abroad. DAX is just sitting at the minute, not really going anywhere. Hey, it looks like we're going down, doesn't it? Might as well let that hit stop if it's going to hit stop. It's the difference between $50. Doesn't look particularly bullish though. So I was hoping we were just going to get a move started from there. We've tried, the propulsion gap's held at the moment, although we've still got a minute left on this candle. But the sellers have certainly stepped in and added to their orders. So we don't appear to have any buyers left. So this initial cash balance obviously is not following through today at the moment. We'll see. Okay, nice bullish close on the DAX. See if we can get some momentum going from here. So it's still holding support at the moment. Ow. I'm not after sympathy, but ow. My arm, ow. I think I might be in for some real pain this afternoon. I've never been to a osteo whatever or a physiotherapist, but basically it's a 45-minute of manipulation. So I can't see it being too much fun this afternoon. But if it stops this pain, I don't care. 45 minutes of pain for a night's sleep. Well worth paying, I think. So yeah, so no live room this afternoon, I'm afraid. I've got a physio appointment at 2 o'clock. I'll just need to reschedule that. So I'll be back on Monday. Just testing these lows again. Yeah, of course, see the size of that order that went in there. And again. It's going to hurt, but after you have the relief, yeah, it's worth it. It will be worth it. The second time I've had this in the last year. It's obviously just a sign of getting old, but I reckon it's something to do with spinning, because I do like 8 spin classes a week. And I think it's something probably to do with the posture I have on the bike, where I trap this C6 nerve somehow. No idea how. But last time I went to the doctors about it, he said, yeah, it'll either come back or it won't. You're feeling in your thumb, because I've got a numb left thumb at the moment. So sometimes it comes back, sometimes it doesn't. It can take 3, 6 weeks or so. Other people, they never get the feeling back in their thumb. It's like, right, cheers. I don't mind necessarily living with a slightly numb thumb, but if I had to live with the pain I've got in my left arm, I probably would rather have my left arm off. I only need one hand to drive. I can eat with a fork. I'm all right. I'm right-handed, so I don't care about the left one. It can go. Obviously, that's a last resort. Good rejection on the DAX, again at the lows. Still got 1 minute 45 left on this candle. I'm just going to place another buy stop above that propulsion gap. If we are going to buy up the lows, eventually the sellers are going to give up, which means we're going to get a pop out the top if that happens. And if it does, when we break that high, I think we'll probably get a decent move started towards the highs. So I'm going to add on a break of that high, break of the propulsion gap. Obviously, assuming that we do actually have buyers coming in, but they're holding up at the moment, but doesn't seem to want to go anywhere, does it, at the minute? So FTSE's rallying. We've managed to put a new high in. Not particularly convincing move on the FTSE either this morning. So quick V-shaped recovery. Break of the highs. So that's a 15-minute opening range break there. Held the lows again. All right, so RSIs obviously have all lit up like a Christmas tree now. Obviously all ADRs. So ADRs means RSI extensions on the hourlies. So everything is yen, 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 yen. So obviously it's all yens. So up to you if you want to try and mean revert these yens. 5-minute reversal is miles away on that one. New Zealand dollar yen, miles away. Pound yen, miles away. You got to take price action on these. It's the only way in. Swiss yen, yeah, you're not going to get in on a reversal alert. Move was too fast. Had a reversal alert on the Aussie yen. You've got like 35, 40 points up into that propulsion gap. So yeah, not great. Pushing on the FTSE. It's like pulling teeth this morning, isn't it? Again. So the pound doesn't seem to have reacted particularly negatively to the news. So we have had that little push down. We haven't managed to break the Asian lows on the pound odd. Pound CAD, we've had a bit of a rally down, but pushing back up again. Swissie's going. We've got a weak Swiss franc at the minute. Obviously, yen is the yen. Pound New Zealand holding up. So since London opened, the pound hasn't actually dropped. So we dropped on the news at 7 o'clock, but We haven't actually had any direction yet there. Just pushing back up to break even on DAX. Pound US is rallying, so more movement on the pound. So market seems to be reacting fairly positively to the GDP figures being negative. Go figure. That's news. DAX, on the other hand, is just not interested. So second bullish engulfing potentially going in here. We've got 2.5 minutes left on this candle, so it'll be way too early to tell, but we haven't made a new low. We haven't managed to crack support. Every time we've popped down below there, you've seen like large pops back up again. So there's large orders being placed here. So again, if you were watching this in the futures market, you'd see a big bar on the heat map here with people just basically adding orders into that level. Every time they sell into it, they add more, add more, add more. And eventually these guys go, all right, whatever. And it goes back the other way, which is what we're seeing at the moment. And then everybody that's tried to sell into this level and has failed will have a exit somewhere up here or here. And as soon as we break that level, they will turn into buyers and flush it. Assuming that there are not more limit orders sitting there waiting to sell. So this battle we've got going on at the moment is between these two levels. One of these levels is going to give. And when it does, we'll flush out either to that high or that low. Jesus. The most annoying thing about this arm is there's not any position I can put it in that is comfortable. And the only comfortable position at night is my arms across my body, lying on my back. And as soon as I try and turn on my left or my right, it just goes, nope, not having that. And it hurts like hell. I had to get out of bed last night and curl up in a ball on the floor because it was that painful. I know I'm a man, but I would liken it to childbirth, the pain level. Get me my drugs, was all I could say last night. And they didn't help either. It's so draining being in pain constantly as well. Just feel exhausted. So hopefully this afternoon, though, they will just pull it really hard or something and it will just go. Ah. If not, I'll be in a really, really grumpy mood on Monday morning. Okay, bullish engulfing market structure has changed. Higher high, higher low. Adding on that break, and we should see a pop. Quick, sharp move out the highs. When we get to that level. If there's no volume, is there today? I reckon we're all waiting for the Canadian unemployment figures. Don't think anybody's interested this morning by the looks of things. With 35 minutes sideways now. FTSE's rallying. Again, there's not a lot really to stop this. There's lots of levels potentially to stop it on the way. That's a 3-bar reversal rather than an accumulation break. So I wouldn't really class that necessarily as where we're going to find sellers. But there's not really a lot until we get up to that area for resistance. We're getting more limit orders trigger in this propulsion gap. Not enough buyers in the market at the moment. This might be a slow burner this morning. It's either going to go or it's not. So I'm just going to leave this one to run, I think. Anybody got any other pairs they want to look at or anything? Because otherwise we're just going to sit here and watch this do nothing. Unless it pops in the next 2 candles, I think I'm going to go and cry somewhere in pain for the next 5 hours until I can go and see this person. So you're on your own this afternoon. I will set the EA up though to try and trade the opening range break. I'm only going to set it up to do 1 entry though. Oil. So oil has had a lovely run this morning. Not quite sure where that came from this morning. Oil looking basically for this market structure break that we had here to hold. So this is kind of our low at the moment, $70 a barrel. We pushed, pulled, pushed, was looking for that move. You can see where I got in here. I was looking for that exit. I got out. We double bottomed and bounced, and now we're flying back up into this propulsion gap here. So I'm looking for these highs to get tested. Just about to break propulsion, so we should see the pop here. Come on. Wow. Strong. Hell. So just watch that level. So yeah, so I'm looking for basically these highs to get tested. I wanted to get in on this yesterday, but I missed an entry. It didn't quite get deep enough for me. I wanted it a little bit deeper yesterday, but I should have taken it. But looking for the highs to get tested, and then potentially on this run from this double bottom, we need to break that high. So I'd be looking for probably here 200 ADR as a measurement. So yeah, any kind of pullbacks you get on this move, this 4-hour candle. I mean, we're approaching ADR today, so it's a little bit late. You've missed the move obviously today, but any kind of pullback into there or into there, look to add. Overall target is sort of 110 plus. Okay, come on, DAX. Let's get that pop through, shall we? You're looking to short it, Shroud? Looking to short from those highs? Yeah, if you want to short from the highs, yeah. Wait for it to get to the highs. So yeah, I mean, I'm looking long. So I'm looking for pullback longs. Then when we get to the longs, I'll get out, you get in, you make your money on the way down. Easy. Everybody makes money. Doesn't matter which way you go, does it? But right now I'll be looking for highs, so you can wait until you get there if you want. Why don't you just get in though? If you're looking to get in short there, why don't you just get in long and make some money on the way to getting into your short? Make twice as much. Because I can't even say your name. I'm going to call you Gregors. I don't know how to pronounce the GRZE. Have you managed to find her? Oh, have you managed to find good set files for the FTSE? No, I haven't tested the FTSE. But go and test it. Use the best place to start is use the existing set files. So compare the two. So your ADR on the DAX is 184. Your ADR on the FTSE is 76. ADR on the NASDAQ is 327. ADR on Dow is 467. So it's got the smallest ADR out of everything. So use existing set files and just change them. Greg, there we go. Yeah, so I haven't tested the FTSE. I like trading the DAX. The reason I like trading the DAX is because we are trading the Frankfurt Open, and that is the DAX. Whereas the FTSE does move at the Frankfurt Open, it also moves at the London Open. The London Open is later than the Frankfurt Open. So it's just easier to time moves, I think, on the DAX. But they all move at the same time, really. So, but you don't want to over leverage. So you need one for the morning, one for the afternoon. I like the DAX and the NASDAQ. But if you want to test the FTSE and you prefer the FTSE, do the FTSE. I can't believe these sellers are stepping in here. Look. Oh well. That's going to stop out. So I'm done for the day on the DAX. I've made 0.5% and I'm going to lose 0.5% on these two shorts, these two longs that have failed today. Break even on the DAX this morning. It's not going anywhere. No point in pushing it. Oh, let's see what goes on this afternoon. I want to know, can I request an automation strategy? I'm looking to code an EA, yeah? Fill out the form on the website. Yeah, so there's a page on the website. Just fill this form out or upload a file, whatever. But I need all this information. This is the key. Can't build an EA unless I know all of that. So just flick through that, read that, make sure that's either in the document you provide or you type it out. And then just send that through and I'll have a look. Better to do it in a Word document or something, or a PDF or whatever. I mean, it depends how complex it is. So if it's really complicated and need lots of work on it, then I don't know. The problem with EA development is I've developed hundreds of EAs, and you can spend a week building an EA to test a strategy, and you test it and it's utterly crap, but you've spent an entire week on it. So I always find the best strategies are the simplest. If it's got 2 moving parts, it'll make money. If it's got 10 moving parts, it's doomed to failure. Because the more moving parts, the more indicators, the more levels you have, the more likely there is a high probability of luck involved in the strategy. When you've got something very, very simple like the RSI, sell when RSI is over there, buy when RSI is below there, it's very simple to back test and it's very simple to forward test, which is why I like it. You know, my system involves 2 parts: condition indicator, signal indicator, tick. It's very simple, and it's why it works. If you start introducing divergence and all of a sudden stopped out 0.3, so I've made a loss this morning of about $50. Just going to cancel these pendings because the buyers are not in control. Neither are the sellers, really. So yeah, the simpler is the better. But you know, and also just bear in mind, if you're using more than one indicator for market condition, not much point. You might as well just use one. But you can test all of that in the EA. So send it over. I'll have a look. Sometimes you don't know what you need until you've coded it and see what it does. Yeah, exactly. Like this, the sentiment EA. I've been working on this and coded this yesterday to take yesterday's highs and lows as well into account, previous day's highs and lows. But it was not until I actually watched the thing playing out I realized that actually I only need the previous day's low if yesterday's low is above the previous day's low. So it's just rejigging it so that, you know, if that level doesn't go, that level will go. So, but if that level goes, I don't need that level anymore, sort of thing. So it's just until you start testing, you don't know what you, like you say, you don't know what you need. This week's high and low as well. I've started introducing that. But you see here, look, we've got previous day's low and yesterday's low, but we're only using yesterday's high because the previous day's high is below yesterday's high and it's already been swept. So there's no point in using yesterday's high, previous day's high. So we only use yesterday's high. So, until you see this all playing out on the screen, and this is what strategy development's about, just figuring out ways to change things when you see it, playing out in real life. But yeah, and like this week's highs and lows, now I've put it on the chart because I thought, we better use this week's highs and lows. If you actually think about it, that's pointless. Why? Because this week's high and low is either going to be yesterday's low or the previous day's low most of the time. Yeah. Look at this week's high is yesterday's high. This week's low is yesterday's low. So, you don't need those levels, but it's not until you watch this thing play out in real time, you go, well, yeah, they're just pointless. I might as well just wait for last week's high to get swept or something, so. But yeah, I'll have a look if you send the strategy over. Already tested my strategy on PineScript with it has a 65% win rate with a 1-2R using a stop. Very good. Yeah, send it over. Sounds cool. We could do lots of back testing and permutation tests on it and see if there's a way to. I wouldn't want to increase the strike rate because that's pretty good. But maybe increase the R rate with trailing stops and things. There's all sorts of things we can test on it. JC, US dollar Mexican for a long. Be careful trading those exotics. Turkish lira is a prime example. What's just happened in Turkey? Right, I'm done for the day really on this. So I'm not going to trade the DAX anymore. I have no idea where this thing's going today. It has no idea where it's going today. It doesn't seem to want to follow the FTSE. And we've had 10 minutes of strength, the initial cash balance, and since then it's just not got a clue. So I'm not going to try and trade that today. The only thing really today you can look for is a long-term 15-minute opening range break, either of the low or the high. But I get the feeling we're waiting for the news of the CAD this afternoon. The FX market seems to be a little bit sideways this morning as well, so I think we'll just wait for that to come out. What? Bank of Japan? Where's my financial juice gone? Let's shut it down by accident. Academic Ueda reportedly tapped as the next Bank of Japan governor. They've just announced that, though. Ueda, as government likely to nominate him. Oh, they haven't done it yet. Oh, I see. Right. Okay. I read that as they've done it. They haven't done it yet. That's who they're anticipating is going to come in. Well, obviously, the Japanese like that. So, anyway. Right. So, I'll be back on Monday at 7:50. There will be no New York this afternoon. I will put a post in the Telegram group. Yeah, I'll be in the Telegram group later after I've had my appointment. I'll be in there all day today if you need anything. But I won't trade this afternoon. I'll call it a week this week. Basically, on this prop account, I'm $216 in profit. And I've been trading it now for a week and a half. I'm literally not making any progress on this one at the moment. So just having one of those one of those months, February, at the minute. I'm doing okay on my other accounts. I just can't seem to get this one over the line, but I think it's because I keep interfering with this one, which is the problem. If you're watching it, you keep messing around with it, don't you? Anyway, we'll see what happens. So I'm going to leverage up this afternoon and see if I can get a decent opening range break on the NASDAQ. I'm just going to set it to use one trade, though, this afternoon. So I'll set that up now, actually. Where are we? ORB. And NAS. $500 on 150. And continuous mode off. So I'm literally going to go just for the initial opening range break. And trail by 400. So that will trade for me this afternoon. And that's all I'm going to do today, really. And just manage the other positions. So everything else that I've got running at the moment, just take the price action toolkit off the DAX because I'm not using that anymore. The only other things, as I say, I've got running at the moment are my FX pairs. So gold, still long. New Zealand dollar CAD, all the pound pairs short, euro pound long, CAD Swiss short. They're all just flip-flopping up and down at the moment. So can't bank anything at the minute because we literally, since that news on Friday, this week has just been like that. It's been such a sideways week for everything. Pound's moving a little bit, but so hopefully after this CAD news, we're going to get some movement this afternoon. Get a big move, but we'll see. Right, so I'll be back on Monday. Anything you need, I'll be in the Telegram group. Hopefully you have a good afternoon this afternoon. Hopefully we get a nice, big, strong NASDAQ ADR hit straight out the gates. That'd be lovely. But other than that, I will see you guys on Monday. So have a good weekend.